The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host. Once more, do we go into the breach, dear friends? As always, we'd like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, not a lot of action in the broad index, at least the S&P. We're just off 1.5 points, but kind of under that 2,500 level. Volume is very light, 1.6 billion shares as we start the show. Of course, if we look at the NASDAQ, it's off 3 points. So there's not a lot going on. But again, the question is, what do you want to be this weekend? You want to be long, you want to be short, or you want to be out? And that question is going to be answered about 3:30 today as to what people want to have. Politically, we found out that probably the health care bill is probably not going to pass. Last couple hours, we lost some supporters, so it's down to probably one vote. My guess is that that won't go through next week. So maybe the market's going to pull back a little bit on that tax issue. A great deal of resistance to the health care bill is if they get the health care bill passed, then they go into the tax bill. And, of course, the plan for the tax bill will not allow you to deduct your state income tax anymore. And, of course, if you are in one of those states that has bone-crushing, raping levels of income tax like California or New York, what would happen to those folks? That's actually a big scheme so that they can get control of that cash locally and not send it off to the government, the big government, to use it. So the question would be, if you want to have high taxes, does that mean that the rest of the states put in more cash that have lower tax rates? So it's kind of a round robin thing, but it seems like a lot of the people wanting to subvert any kind of tax reform is based on at least that one major leg. So what else do we have? The question is covert plan to get people to move out of Illinois, and they already have. I mean, there's I think a lot of people that see the turmoil down in St. Louis don't really understand that a lot of what they're showing in St. Louis is what's called East St. Louis. And that's actually in Illinois. It's right there on the river. And I used to go back through there in the mid-'80s, and it was like Beirut. The sheriff didn't have any cash. Somebody sued them and actually got the police office, police station, as the settlement in a lawsuit. So, but anyway, the story is 800,000 people 10 years ago, 300,000 people in that same county this year. So there's a lot of that kind of flight from massive high income tax rates. Everybody just eventually leaves. And the question is whether or not that's are other states actually subsidizing these super high states because they get to keep their cash and do whatever they want with it. And, of course, here in Florida, of course, we're in a no-income tax state. And, well, I think there would be, if you want to talk about real riots, just start talking about an income tax down here in Florida. We'll have some real riots. It won't be a civil war. It'll be everything It will be no rules, bare hand-fisted. We like our no tax state. Anyway, that's about it. It's going to be quiet. Probably the last 30 minutes of the day are going to decide. We sold off yesterday into the close. My guess is we're probably going to sell off a little bit more. When you get into these very, very close, tight tops and markets roll over, I can't say that the market will roll over. I can tell you, though, if it does roll over and we've had these kind of tops, this is exactly the kind that get incredibly brutal, i.e., we get a lot of people up here. They don't think it's much of a pullback. It does this 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And then pretty much, as we explained it yesterday, you are the proverbial frog that got put into the lukewarm water who eventually boiled because they didn't know the temperature was going up. So what you really want to watch is if we get these kind of 4 or 5 point S&P pullbacks per day, no one thinks much about it. We don't see any kind of shorting. Everybody believes that we're just only going to go higher. And then guess what? You see the real damage in markets done, because literally right now we have 5-year lows in equity shorts. Now, a handful of these things have real high short interest, and we'll talk about one of those today. But for the most part, it's one of these things where, can it go either way? Yes, a little bit higher. If it goes lower, though, a whole lot lower. And with that, we get to start the show with a little bit of history.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history repeating, and on this day in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln issues the can't even say it today, Emancipation Proclamation, which sets a date for the freedom of more than 3 million black slaves in the United States and recasts the Civil War as a fight against slavery. And of course, that had the Gettysburg Address.
77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men living and dead who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they fought.
Well, we'll finish that when we come back. Got one more. The best. We'll be back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Got about 45 seconds of this, and I want to play it, and then we're going to go to Larry in Wyoming.
Have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Well, it's tough to follow that up, but Larry has promised me he will. Hello, Larry. How you doing?
Wow, you really know me, David. I can't top those words. I mean, I'm just, yeah, that was, it brings tears to my eyes. It's so beautiful. Just a little factoid, there's 10 times more people in America today than back in the Civil War, and when they would lose, like, literally 100,000 soldiers of that age category on a single day on a battle, that was, millions. Yeah, it was staggering.
Yeah, I'm watching one of this YouTube channel that they're doing the First World War, and the guy, what he did is started in 2014, but each week he goes through all the news of the war that week for like 30 minutes. So you literally go from the first week of the war, and he's going to go through 2018, and it's really kind of amazing when you get that deep into it, how many things were going on and what happened. I mean, I kind of got the Reader's Digest version in school. You got a lot more about World War II because maybe we were closer to that. But it's really amazing how many things were going on, what the geography looked like back at that time. And I find it utterly amazing. It's called The Great War, if anybody's interested in finding that on YouTube, but it's very amazing. Anyway, what are we talking about today? Oh, did he fell off? Maybe you'll call back. Is he gone? I take it he's gone. Well, couldn't live up to the great speech from World War, the uncivil war, as I call it. One of those things that truly not named very well. Anyway, we're going to go to a few things going on out here today. He wanted to look at the SMHs, so hopefully he'll call back. But that's it. Okay. And then I've got a story to tell about a comic, which I think is one of the funniest stories of all time. Anyway, not much more, but NVIDIA down a little bit lower. Don't really know if we're doing a 3:30 with Tom today. Haven't heard that one way or the other. So a bunch of emails, nothing back so far. So, oh, are you there, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You there, Larry? Yeah, I it's Magic Jack on my landline, so I'm sorry.
Aptly named, isn't it?
Boy, I'm telling you. Well, yeah, the SMH issue. I mean, if you look back in a month at this little top here, let's say the daily 4 top bars, I mean, you'll say that, well, that's like there's no volume today on this little 382 retracement.
No.
And doesn't this kind of confirm the down move in your method?
Today, no, not so much.
Really?
But, to me, it was, this whole, to me, the whole SMH story is the energy from this August 11th low to this September 19th high. I mean, when we came back from the 3-day weekend, we should have seen some massive amounts of juice in this thing to hold it up, and we haven't. We've also seen a lot of these particular stocks around Apple roll over and die, and there's a real reason for it. And that is tough. You can't. NVIDIA by itself can't pull the wagon as a whole, and that is part of it. There is an index, and if half of that index is lame, come up lame, it's going to be real tough to see this thing actually go higher. Now, well, it is the biggest blow, so you'll see a lot of people come after this time after time. But yeah, you don't want to see something like this up on light volume like it is today. But I think Monday is probably a much bigger indicator than what we get out of the SMHs today.
Okay, but I just in case this was the fatal gap down Monday, retrace, I did add some puts around the 382 level for November. And it has a little fractal mini 10-inch or 10-minute, kind of like a horrible-looking butterfly that could top out, anywhere around 91.65. You don't work that way?
No, I don't even bother with minute charts.
Okay.
The dailies is pretty much what I look for. I don't do I don't really do the weeklies or monthlies or think that that's a big issue to me. One of the things I've been talking a lot about machine learning.
Right.
For the last couple of months. And one of the things you can do is something that they call feature engineering. And one of the things is how important are 3-day weekends, or how important is something like a Friday close compared to end of the month close or something like that, right? Right. And it's actually fairly easy to do, or in my opinion, options expiration, right? So one of the things you can do is add additional information. Let's say you have open, high, low, and close. You can put right next to it the number of days until options expiration, or the day of the week, 1 through 5. You could add another column in there with the amount of the day of the month and the day of the year. And if you have enough data, you can actually go back that and put in there and find the biases and the weights that you should add for all those things, like a Friday close or a Monday close or Wednesday or whatever, because all it's going to see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on what day of the business day of the week it was. And it's going to go through there and engineer them. And I put it in my newsletter not too long ago. It's just, the weekly close, just not that important. Much more important are options expiration, fund buying, a handful of other things that show a lot more correlation to the movement of the market. So I'm pretty happy with this doing dailies, and that's it. Go ahead.
No, that's good. The way I look at these charts, it's matching on cycle brackets perfectly for highs and lows on the daily. And we got a doji right now on the weekly, and it's on low volume relative to the, what was that, August?
Yeah.
The June little.
You want to hold on?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we'll be back.
Thank you.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
My official new theme? Don't know about that. Good little part, though, out of Pink Floyd. Do we still have the wonderful and amazing Larry from Wyoming?
Oh, gee, thanks, David. I'm trying to make sense of this stuff. And, I mean, when I look at the weekly chart, which you don't use, this SMH has kept making, well, your system detects it, but it's been making higher highs with waning relative strength, 14 period. And I'm just, I'm trying to be optimistic here on the short side. Tell me what you see.
I don't think you have to be optimistic. I think you just kind of put your money in, and they work out or they don't. I just don't get too involved in that. I think this is one of the best patterns I've seen for a while. Like you said, the volume today is pretty wimpy on the push higher. We'll see how we close, but to me, this is kind of a bunch of people thinking, okay, if I just don't sell, the market can't go down. Well, that doesn't do you any good, because it certainly doesn't go up. And I actually talked to somebody today who sold something, and I think the stock went down 50 cents. So it's fairly thin. And you're going to find out if anybody does decide to start selling, it is going to be problematic. Again, only a handful of stocks have any kind of significant short interest. And that means if we do go south, that we're probably going to go south in a hurry, and there are not going to be a lot of people to buy this thing on the way down. Those natural shorts really have a big effect on slowing down the market. And that's one of the reasons you see $2,000 moves in Bitcoin. You really can't short it. Yeah. And those markets are very scary. And
David, there is an outside put position at the strike price of 31,000, and that's a good 15 times larger than any position. It's bigger than any call position on 15 views north and south of zero. So somebody has a big position here.
Yeah, I think 82, 84 is doable. I just don't know exactly when. Probably before November, but October, November. You don't. Everything just doesn't blow up at once.
Yeah, no, you've explained. Yeah, it's just I'm still new enough at this where I don't do it totally professionally. I mean, I do get a little emotional still.
Here's something that a wise man once told me. Be sure enough to be unsure. If you're so sure that you think that it's a 100% lock, the trade's probably going to go against you.
That's for sure. Yeah.
The price that you pay for being short many times is that you have to sit a lot, market doesn't go down, then all of a sudden you make a absolute bag full of money. But it's not easy. The market's, even in a downtrend, the market's going up 3/4 of the time. It may go up a tiny bit and just kind of bore you out. And then you hit that air pocket. In fact, I was talking to one of our tigers today about clear air turbulence. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, yes. I used to fly. Yeah.
Okay. Everybody else calls it an air pocket. But you're just flying along, and all of a sudden the bottom drops out. I think of my Cessna, I think the most that I dropped was one time was about 1,200 feet.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
That was an interesting day.
Man, advise me not to fly those atmospheric conditions, will you? Yeah. No, I don't fly anymore. I'm done with that. Yeah.
that is it. But anyway, for the people that are not familiar with it, it's just out of the blue. You just have a big drop, and normally you don't see why, because there's no clouds or anything to show you that the wind's swirling there. And we kind of have that now. We don't have a lot of clues. There aren't a lot of clouds swirling. Doesn't look like a tornado anywhere. Normally a tornado, you see the little thing spinning. You kind of get an idea that there's trouble ahead. But sometimes that little swirl's there and there's just no water vapor in there and you don't see it. You just come along and whoosh,
Yeah.
you're at 5,000
Well,
feet. Then you're,
I'm making
and then
a prediction
5
because you
seconds
can't.
later,
You're too
you're at
professional.
3,800. Huh?
SMH is stopping here today, right here at the 50% retrace at 91.71. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I like to see a little bit more samples size. I don't get too excited
Probably,
about half a
yeah.
day or one day. And there's also a thing. There's also a thing called Nyquist sampling. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I have not. No.
You might want to look into that when you're actually looking at this in a technical analysis way. Nyquist.
Dave, I wasn't trained. I have a hard time using a spreadsheet. That's why I'm a Walter Mitty trader. I employ professionals to make me look good.
Okay. Nyquist sampling has to do with the frequency which you sample. And the theory, which stands up and has for 100 years, is that if you want to sample, let's say, like audio, and the frequency range is, let's say, 10,000 hertz that you want to capture, you've got to sample it at twice that, or you're going to get a huge amount of aliasing and artifacting. So if you want to listen, if you want to hear 10,000 hertz, or let's say on a phone line you want to hear 3,000 hertz, you got to sample it at 6,000 hertz. And that's why I try not to get too excited about any single one candle, because I know that in sampling theory, if you're looking at things over time, you pretty much, if you're looking at it at a daily basis, you want to look at it 2 days. If you're looking at it a week, you got to look at kind of about 2 weeks. So don't get, I'm going to say just from all science that has predated the stock market and come after it, everything says that Nyquist sampling is the way to look at things. So you don't want to get too focused on a single day, and a lot of times you want to use some kind of way of smoothing the data out, especially for people that use things like tick data and stuff like that. It's, the data is so noisy that humans have a very tough problem with it. And, there's a variety of ways to smooth the data out, but it's, I guess what I'm saying is it tends to be a lot like instrument flight rules. You really got to trust your gauges and look for divergences in those gauges to see whether or not they're all working correctly. But in the stock market, you really just have to put your money down. If the conditions change, then change your trade. But I can't get up. Maybe I've done it now for 18, 19 years. I can't get real excited about a single day like today. To me,
thank you, David. Thank you.
It's going to be Monday that we're probably going to find a lot more out about this market. We'll be back in just a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking to open your portfolio to a world of opportunity, consider the new market-safe emerging currency CD from Everbank. This 3-year U.S. dollar-denominated CD gives you exposure to 5 equally weighted currencies from Brazil, China, India, Indonesia, and Turkey at a time when experts see great potential for global growth. Even better, it features a 7.0 leverage factor, which means you could earn a potential market upside payment of 7 times the CD's performance at maturity with no cap if the currencies increase in value over the CD's term. And should the opposite occur, your principal is 100% protected. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on this index CD. Don't miss out. The September 28th funding deadline will be here before you know it. So call 1-855-750-4051 or visit everbank.com/TFNN for the CD's term sheet and other important product details and disclosures. This advertisement is sponsored content. Everbank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member, FDIC.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Well, certainly not a lot of volume, just 1.8 billion shares with an hour and 20 minutes left to go in the day. So there isn't anything going on in the way of volume to the upside. Got a lot of small stocks that are kind of bouncing off of pulling back, but they're up on very light volume. We'll look at a few of the movers out here. We did talk about First Solar, FSLR. And we talked about this one being a three-gap play. It certainly started that. What we had on the turnaround, though, is go back here and look at it, is a change in tariffs. Actually, China's been dumping solar cells for about probably the last 2.5 years. The Obama regime didn't really decide to do much about it. It does look like Trump is going to change that. You had a little spike up to $53 on that, but I don't think it changes the whole way that you have to look at that, and that is that the subsidies in this, especially the state subsidies that push this for a long time, i.e. solar cells and solar roofs and all that stuff, are going away. And that continues to be something that's rather problematic. So just keep an eye on that. One that I think is even more exciting out here, if you are thinking of being short, is the Mohawk carpets. Mohawk is 246 right now. That's off about 3%. And of course, this had a nice gap up on earnings back on the 28th of July, did so with 1.2 million shares. We're down back into this with 900,000. But what's most interesting to me is this is massively owned by Berkshire Hathaway and Mr. Buffett. And you don't see a lot of these things gapping away. He's normally in there to manage this. If you can come down on volume in this stock, you've got to watch others in this sector. And of course, that's the whole home buying sector itself. Even though interest rates may not go up, the loans may be much harder to get as that balance sheet gets unwound by the Fed. Look for not higher interest rates so much as less money. And that less money means that it's going to be harder to get a loan and probably going to sell a few less houses. Mohawk down on significant volume and probably going to get and match this gap up on the 28th of July. So take a look at that. I thought maybe CarMax would actually whiff. They just did okay, but there was a super high short interest in this stock, and I'm glad I wasn't short. Some of these car companies were looking horrible, and we talked about Ford having 10 weeks of supply out there on the lot. Doesn't seem to matter to CarMax. Up on big volume today of about 7 million shares. So maybe there's something going on in there I did not see. Finish line was up to about $10.30 as a high today. It's rolled off a lot of that. And again, another stock that everybody's betting that it's going out of business. It's a mall store. It continues to have problems. It gapped down on some nasty news back on August 29th, kind of in that range. But again, this is probably one of these walking dead stocks that we talk so much about, like Sears and the rest. You've got massive short interest, and you can get any kind of news that isn't horrifically bad, and you can see some fairly large moves out of these things. That it just got back up to where this thing croaked on the 29th of August with 26 million shares. It went up into that with 11.6 million shares today. Went up there, tagged it, and of course given, I don't know, about a third of that back. But again, I'm not a big fan of shorting $10 stocks because this is the kind of action you get. Off just a little bit is Grubhub with earnings this morning. Take a quick look at that and see if there's anything in it. This thing went up on huge juice. It's at least back at support here today. I don't see a lot in it. I probably want this thing to come back to 47 bucks on lighter volume. This did gap up. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, it gapped up the next day, but ran all day on the 4th of August. Did so on 7.4 million shares. We're kind of back into that with about 3 million shares right now. But I suspect you probably want that thing in about the low 48s. And if the market does turn up, maybe that's one to take a look at. Okay, what else do we have? We're going to go back out here and see what we have going on. Just a lot of these stocks, just very light. Not much happening. Gotta go. Okay. Skyworks, we'll look at Apple, SWKS. We will be on with Tom at 3:30, and we'll be talking about Apple and the rest of it and what's gone on the first day of them selling the Apple 8 iPhone. Skyworks Solution, a little bit of a bounce out here, but as Larry pointed out, these bounces, especially the equities, I mean, the overall indexes and those have light volume, but these bounces are ridiculous. 865,000 shares today for Skyworks Solution on the upside, 2.1 million shares yesterday, and 3.5 million shares the day before. When we look at what is that? Avago, AVGO, what do we have in that? We're off 88 cents, not a big deal, but basically a little bounce off the open this morning, but 1.5 million shares. So there are not a lot of people dying to get into the stock market here before the end of the day, at least not so far. So we'll see what happens. We got some people. Look at Tesla real quick, TSLA. And what am I looking at in that? Well, you made a test on almost half the volume, 7 million shares to almost 13 million shares on the June 23rd high. It's done nothing but roll over since then. I think when I was looking through the news articles, saw something like 3, maybe 4 car companies coming out with electric cars in the next year and a half. Tesla right now, pretty interesting. It's got almost a monopoly for electric cars. Of course, it's going to have a less expensive one that's actually kind of sort of shipping. But what's going to happen when you got BMW? You got a big push coming up here in just, I think, a month by the Chevy Volt, a redone version of that. It's about $35,000. That kind of makes a little sense to me. If you live in city, you don't go very far. I think it's got about 150 mile range, which is about right. $35,000, that may be a good long-term buy. I always hate buying a car that for $75,000 or $80,000, that's going to need $30,000 worth of batteries. Volt, I think the battery packs are going to be about 12 grand. So maybe that's a little bit better off over time. Either way, though, I hate thinking that for 6 years I'd have to take my motor out and throw it on the curb and put in a brand new crate motor in the car. So I'm still a little nervous about buying electric cars. We'll be back in a second.
Tom O'Brien has just announced that he'll be coming to Boston September 30th for a free workshop, The Art of Timing the Trade. Join Tom O'Brien Saturday morning, September 30th at the Boston Marriott in Burlington, Massachusetts, as he breaks down his trading methodology and provides you with the tools to become a more successful and profitable trader. Everyone that attends in person will receive a free signed copy of Tom's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. Daryl Martin from Apex Investing Institute will also be presenting for 90 minutes at this free event.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Join me in Boston on September 30th as I return to my hometown for a workshop about the art of timing the trade. I look forward to seeing all the tigers and tigresses for this special free event.
All action starts early at 7:30 a.m. with a continental breakfast and wraps up at about 1 p.m. Topics that Tom will be covering during his presentation include quality volume, cause and effect, ABC structures, swing points, and much, much more. For all the information on this free Boston event taking place Saturday, September 30th, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets. Right here on TFNN. Wow!
And do we have Victor on the line? I figured as much. You want to look at Equifax. I wouldn't buy it. This thing's going to be in lawsuits forever. While you can shield yourself from some things, you can't from probably what they did. So I would stay away from it. Yeah, what else can you say? Okay, what else can we say? We got about 2 minutes left to go. What is going on? Well, to me, I think we're waiting for something. And we're familiar with waiting for something, waiting for the Fed, waiting for jobs numbers, waiting for this, waiting for that. What do I think we're waiting for? We're waiting for those German elections. I think we're probably going to see a little action. I think we're probably going to see a little bit of a surprise. And that's why I'm probably going to just sit on my hands. I don't see any reason to react to what's happening today. I think this is kind of a big gulp of what's going to happen over in the euro, because, of course, any seats lost by Merkel, and I think she's going to lose seats. The question is just how many, is a big push in what happens to the EU over time. Germany owns, or let me put it this way. If you divvied up all the money, 80% of it goes for the euro, 80% of it goes right into Germany. You wouldn't be surprised how little money that all the other countries have, 20% about combined compared to Germany. They did pretty well at holding all that cash together in the First and Second World War. They kind of pushed it off into Switzerland, come back, get it a little bit later. But it's pretty amazing as an industrial country that has, a big river. They can manufacture a lot of stuff. I would think they would. But it's that election, I think, are waiting. So we'll see that and the reaction Monday, but you'll probably know Sunday night sometime. I think it'll be 6 hours ahead of us. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you at 3:30 with Tom O'Brien.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Tom O'Brien has just announced that he'll be coming to Boston September 30th for a free workshop, The Art of Timing the Trade. Join Tom O'Brien Saturday morning, September 30th at the Boston Marriott in Burlington, Massachusetts, as he breaks down his trading methodology and provides you with the tools to become a more successful and profitable trader. Everyone that attends in person will receive a free signed copy of Tom's best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System. Daryl Martin from Apex Investing Institute will also be presenting for 90 minutes at this free event.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. Join me in Boston on September 30th as I return to my hometown for a workshop about the art of timing the trade. I look forward to seeing all the tigers and tigresses for this special free event.
All action starts early at 7:30 a.m. with a continental breakfast and wraps up at about 1 p.m. Topics that Tom will be covering during his presentation include quality volume, cause and effect, ABC structures, swing points, and much, much more. For all the information on this free Boston event taking place Saturday, September 30th, visit the front page of TFNN.com.